and it was a constant question that I was asking myself is like, man, am I crazy? You know, like what's wrong with me, right?
I know for me, there's a lot of embarrassment and there's a lot of shame with it. And then when people have their personal opinions, it's really hard to navigate what's right for you.
Like I just kind of feel like I'm in a cage, you know, and I just can't find the key anywhere I look.
We always do it this time. I got to shine.
Welcome to the Good Life.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. This is The Good Life with the Davises. My name is Jonathan Davis.
And I'm Kiana Davis.
So today we have a special treat for you. We're going to dive into talking about our experiences with our own individual mental health, as well as some in our marriage.
So as John mentioned earlier, both of us do battle mental health, and it's very real for both of us. You know, what you see on camera and on social media is not reality. We all know that. We are very open with our story and our experience, but we just thought it would be really cool to share it on this platform with you all. So we just wanted to share our experience today. Obviously, in no way, shape, or form are we professionals, trying to be professionals. We just want to relate to those of you out there that do battle mental health. I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I know for me, there's a lot of embarrassment and there's a lot of shame with it. And then when people have their personal opinions, it's really hard to navigate what's right for you. So we just wanted to go ahead and share our experience and some tips and some tricks that have been really helpful for us individually through going to therapy, seeing professionals, through the Bible, which really has the answers to any issue or trial or hardship that we've faced. And then also a lot of spiritual mentoring in our church. So we just want to share with you what we've learned, and we'll go ahead and have John start us off with his journey.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for me is in 2017, I was obviously when we first got married. We got married in January of 2017. So shortly after that, you know, we went. It was all in all like a pretty rough year. Mostly because, actually, pretty much all because of mental health. And a lot of it was just unknown, like it was uncharted territory, I guess is the correct way to say that. So I was approached by some dear loved ones, Luke and Brandon, and because they were obviously helping us and trying to figure out different things. And all in all, I went to go see a psychiatrist, and basically, like, some of my behaviors just had red flags, right? Like, okay, like this is not normal. And so when I went, I was diagnosed with three things. I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and severe depression. I remember when I first found out, it was all in all super challenging. You know, I kind of shut down for a little while. I guess that's where the severe depression comes in. I think a lot of it is I saw myself as like I was walking around, and it's like I had a sign above my head, and everyone was just like, oh, like he's crazy, you know, like, or and it was a constant question that I was asking myself is like, man, like am I crazy? You know, like what's wrong with me, right? And so that was very challenging. So that really made for a really tough year. I ended up getting fired from my dream job because of it, which was also very challenging. And I think our marriage was just in a rough spot just because all of this was brand new. And so we're newly married, and I have all these mental health things, and so Kiana is trying to figure out how do I deal with this, you know what I mean? And then she has her own stuff, right? So it was kind of an interesting year because of that, and it took a lot of work. You know, it took a lot of effort, and no way do I feel like I'm a master at it. For me, what's helped me to get better at it, at least, is, you know, I go to therapy even now, once a week. Actually, we just switched to bi-weekly, which is awesome. So here we are, over 3 years later, and I'm still in therapy. And I love it. I enjoy it, and I think it's helped me tremendously. I haven't had an anxiety attack in over a year, but I remember in the beginning, I was having anxiety attacks weekly, and it was just like hard to get off the floor at times. It's like the energy, I was sapped, so. And then even like with the depression, that's still an ongoing battle. That's the hardest part, is the depression causes me to be absent. Amazing things happen with both my sons, and it's just kind of like I have no, sorry, I'm not trying not to get emotional. I have no like joy or excitement. Like, it's hard to express. I can feel it internally, but it's hard to express, right? Like, I just kind of feel like I'm in a cage, I just can't find the key anywhere I look. So that's the ongoing battle for me now, but it's gotten better. I think, here and there. I try to keep myself as busy as possible, give myself different tasks that help. One of the things, I think the biggest thing that helped me that I would share just quickly, and then obviously we'll talk about, I think, more in detail in another segment. But the biggest thing that's helped me, I think, is just the support that I've had. I mentioned Luke and Brandon earlier. Of course, my wife supported me. Even in the beginning, my first 5 to 10 appointments, either Luke or Brandon went with me. They carved out 2 hours of their day to go with me on a weekly basis, and even beyond that, even beyond the support, has just been, phenomenal. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I got through it. And of course, just Kiana, I think that her research that she's done with this book called Brain Lock.
Best book ever. Yeah. Even if you don't have mental health issues, this book is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And so that has, helped transform me, at least motivated me to move on. And I think once I came to grips, okay, hey, this is what I have. I have OCD, I have GAD and severe depression. That's okay. And I came to terms with it, and I accepted it. And honestly, now I've come to a place where it's almost like I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? I feel like now I have something to go after and master. And I feel good about it. I think that I'm learning every day. I think that, we're learning together, and we have a way better marriage, I would say.
Yeah. We could do a whole segment on our honeymoon.
No, you always gotta ask the wife if we're good before you say you're good.
We're good.
I've learned that, hey, we're good, and then she's like, yeah, we're good. I'm like, okay, so we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. But that's pretty much for what I got from mine.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, for me, mental health came on the scene for me before I moved to New York in 2016. I was still living in Orange County before we got reconnected. And so, again, for those of you, I know there's many of you that watching this that are in our church and know who Luke and Brandon are, Speckman, that we're talking about, but many of you don't know who they are. So Brandon is a woman and Luke is her husband, and they are like parents to us. They're in the church, they're like our spiritual mentors, spiritual parents, and really just family. And so they've taken us under their wing for quite some time now, both of us individually, because they've known us both separately for a long time, and they were the ones that fixed us up. So when I was still in Orange County with them, it was kind of similar to John. They know me so well. They've known me since I was 18. So they were seeing behaviors and red flags, and never pushed or pressured or anything like that, but just said, hey, I'm concerned. And so that got me thinking, okay, well, maybe I should go just for research, just to learn myself a little bit more. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, to go get it checked out. So when I did, seeing a psychiatrist and then a psychotherapist, and explaining kind of my patterns of when hardship happens, how I respond, long before, my whole life, childhood, teenage years. And when I was able to just look at the patterns of the way I reacted and responded to things emotionally, I was like, I guess this isn't normal. I can see that. the spike, like the peak, and then a huge drop, and then a peak and a huge drop. Like it was just like an emotional roller coaster instead of just being like, for the most part, steady. And so at that time in 2016, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And I know like half of America is diagnosed with depression and anxiety. You know, like this isn't new. Like many people battle this. But it went undiagnosed for many years because you just think it's normal, you know, but then you are going through it and you don't know how to handle it because you've never sought help. You know, that's where I was at. And so then that was really helpful. Got on medication for a little bit, but then I was like, this medication is doing more harm than good. So I just want to stick to therapy because that's what's the most effective for me. You know, whatever helps you be the best you can be, do that. And so for me, it was just not medication at the time. So then when we moved to New York, as Jonathan shared, and we got married, it's like his mental health was exposed, which exposed mine even more. Like I thought I was like good. I thought I like had it, you know, under control. It was kind of dormant, but it sure wasn't, because when he would have an anxiety attack, he was dealing with his obsessive compulsive disorder. His are like intrusive thoughts, not like checking locks and stuff or like making sure everything's like perfect, but it was like these intrusive thoughts. So when he would share them with me, it would send me out into this like emotional spiral because I didn't know how to handle the content of what he was sharing. And you know, we're open with that too, but for the sake of time and just skimming the surface in this video, we won't go into it. But I would have these emotional outbursts. I would get suicidal. In 2017, I did actually attempt suicide 3 times. I did write a blog about it. I should put the link in here because it's really sobering and really sad to see where I was at. Jonathan was there all 3 times, and
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah.
He was there all 3 times and saved me all 3 times. I didn't plan it, I didn't think about it, I legitimately attempted. And it was really just dark. It was a dark time. And so, you know, so much has happened since then. But we knew that where we are, we can't stay here. You know, we're committed to each other in our marriage. This is our first year. It was like so bad. But we knew that we loved each other. We weren't going anywhere. We just had to figure each other out and figure out ourselves so we could support each other. And so after going to therapy, getting restored to God, getting back in His Word, having a strong prayer life, and getting plugged into our support system, we were able to really just kind of rebuild from scratch, knowing who we are deeper and better.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like John shared, I have a therapist now that I see. It's telehealth because COVID right now, and yeah, we see each other every Monday morning, and she's giving me all sorts of insight and teaching me on how to manage my emotional like waves that come, you know, instead of breaking down and crying or battling suicidal thoughts. Like I'm learning how to train my mind on how to just bring it back down, basically, you know. And yeah, so anyways, it's been quite the journey.
Yeah.
There's so much more to everything we just shared.
I think one of the people that I want to mention that really helped me when I first got diagnosed was Mike Patterson, who actually leads our church in Boston. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why I bring him up is because when I felt hopeless, Mike being able to relate to a lot of what I was going through it helped me to see that, okay, like this is possible, right? Like there is hope, like I can overcome, right? I can figure it out. And so with that, like if you want to ask us questions, you can comment, you can personal message us, and we would love to answer your questions. We would love to talk and hear your story. Definitely reach out to us, and we would love to at a later time we'll bring it up and have a longer or more focused segment on it, which I think is going to be awesome. But we wanted to just push out kind of like the opening, scratch the surface of it, And yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, so if there's any specific topics that you'd like to hear us discuss, again, we're not professionals, we're not trying to be,
Yeah.
we're just people that battle this and want to connect with other people that do too and be any support that we can. So, with all that said, thank you so much for listening. Please like, comment, message. We would love to hear from you, your story, any questions that you have so we can point you in the right direction of getting help.
Right.
And also, if you would like us to dive deeper into some of the things that we talked about, there's 3 years worth of mental health and stories, and there's a lot of stuff there. So
A lot of stories.
Yeah, a lot. So if you'd like to hear us talk about any of those specific ones, just let us know anonymously or comment, and we would love to do that. We're open books.
Yeah.
We've got nothing to hide. And we're really grateful for all of you that are watching, that have helped us on this journey. Thank you so much. We just want to pay it forward and help anyone else that we possibly can. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.